Today's kind of hidden logic that helps shape our motivation. So really it's about motivation, little tips and tricks and things that I've been reading from various kind of bits online, but I've also been reading a book which is kind of given bits of information which have kind of helped me probably in my work life but also my personal life too. So hopefully what I'm going to go through today is going to encourage you not only inside work but outside of work as well. Because obviously we don't live to work, we work to live sort of thing. Just the agenda, so I'm just going to give a brief introduction, which is what I'm doing now. Then go through some examples from The Payoff, which is the book that I've been reading. So this is by Dan Ariely, who does a lot of TED Talks, but I'll go into him a little bit more in a minute. What it means to be motivated. I've got a fun challenge, so this is the prize part. And then how can we motivate each other, and questions. So it's not a lengthy presentation, but it's more sort of conversational based. Cool, so The Payoff. So hidden logic that helps shape our motivation. So I must admit, when I was reading this book, I picked it up, put it down, picked it up, put it down, which is not usual for me because I normally read a book all the way through. And I think it's because there were certain points within the book that I'd kind of read and then think, actually this is quite relevant to me, and then I'd pick it up again and I'd almost carry on in the stage within the book. So I found it really useful. So I think if you do want to read it, download it on Kindle, buy the book. I don't think it's too expensive. It's just quite interesting. So who is he? He's a professor of behavioural economics. He's done a lot of media outlets, so New York Times, Wall Street Journal, so he's done a lot of stuff in motivation. He's actually a self-burns victim, so from a young child he was burnt all over his body and was in and out of hospital. It was a really sort of horrible scenario where he would be having surgery, skin being peeled off every day, and the appearance of himself, motivating himself to get through, was quite a big ordeal. But he's gone on to be quite successful as a professor, but he also teaches people through tragic burn scenarios and things like that, so he's quite, inspirational in his own way. But what the book is really targeted at is businesses, so CEOs, managers, even employees like us, and how can we do small things that motivate each other, what sort of quick tips or games can we do to manipulate things, not necessarily in a negative way, but in a way that can we do something that motivates someone. So if we change how our attitude is, does it motivate someone more, or does it motivate someone less, sort of thing? How does it relate to us? So obviously it's a key element that drives us to work, deliver projects, win sales, and it's hugely important to staying motivated as well. So obviously we set our OKRs for this year, and obviously with the pressure within that environment, we want to hit those OKRs, but sometimes if, example, the release is late or a project's been delayed because we need to do more work in another area, it can feel stressful because we really want to push towards something. And sometimes motivation can go down because of that, because stress, unfortunately, does create that environment. So it's kind of looking at, well, okay, we know that we've got a goal to achieve, but how can we stay motivated? How can we make sure that one another is encouraging each other, and how can you be motivated yourself? Because if you're not motivated yourself, then you're less likely to motivate others. So what does it mean to be motivated? So obviously it's a huge factor to maintain success of businesses. A lot of our actions impact how things are done. So obviously how quickly we work on something, how colleagues and customers perceive us is based on our own self-motivation. So for example, just going to pick on support, but let's say it's a really stressful day in support and a customer has called in and given us a bit of an earful, and it's a really stressful day. If our motivation goes down from that customer, we could turn around to another colleague and we could likely to snap, or maybe not be as helpful because we're stressed, so we're less motivated maybe by negative comments for another person. So the impact in a working environment can really change and scale the motivation differently. Another way of motivation can dip or fall, or rise, should I say, is recognition, so rewarding people or giving praise and things like that. But negative attitudes towards negative attitudes towards motivation teaches that employees are less likely to come to work on time, put minimum effort in towards their work. Right, I'm really nervous right now. I've got a twitch in my leg, so if you see my leg shaking, just ignore me, by the way. This happened on my wedding day too. Put in minimum effort towards their work and may even leave organisations due to lack of motivation. So sometimes we do see trends that people who aren't motivated, you see kind of that domino effect of people leaving. That effect I experienced in my last job, because when I left, apparently 5 other people left as well. And they weren't expecting that because they didn't understand that their employees weren't motivated to work there and things like that. Positive obviously means that people do arrive on time. They may even work later to try and get deadlines done because they know how important it is to the business. Obviously put more effort in, and that proactively promote their positivity. So, you know, if a team has done well, they want to promote it to other teams, encourage them, talk about it, share experiences, and essentially, you know, push the company to all be positive and pick up from that vibe. So obviously that's work life, but outside of work, how do we motivate everyone? How do we motivate ourselves? So getting that work life and home balance was always something I think everyone's going to try and compete with in their lives at all times. But it does show, and studies do show, that if you have a negative home life, if things are stressful at home, you're less likely to be positive. I think that's quite a given. But obviously if you can change that at home, if you can do one thing to slightly set that balance equal or on a playing level, then it does improve things. And one book I've been reading is Huyger, or don't know how you pronounce it, but you pronounce it down in different ways. It's the little book of the Danish way to live well. I bought this book because I'm interested in design, but actually not just looking at the pretty pictures, it's a kind of way of living. So it's about kind of taking time to be connected, taking time for yourself, taking time to enjoy company with family and friends, or just take time out and enjoy things that you probably wouldn't necessarily do. So it could be reading a book, it could be having hot chocolate by a cosy fire and a picturesque book that apparently we all have homes like. But it's definitely a really interesting book to kind of take some of the Danish ways of living and seeing how we can incorporate into our own lives. One of the Danish ways of living is apparently finishing work at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know if we'll adapt that, but it's something that obviously they feel important because family life is important. So I guess one thing is to make sure that your family life, your home life is something that you cherish and you enjoy, and make sure that all the positive feelings and things you get out from that you can bring into work in terms of your personality, what you can bring to work. Cool. So, 2 volunteers, please. Put your hands up. Anyone? Oh, I'm going to pick on you. Bella? And Alexis, because you're just smiling like a chicken.
Too easy.
Okay, right. So, I don't know how well this is going to go, because I've just tested the surface and it's not that great. But anyway, can you make a triangle from a stack of cards in less than 2 minutes? That doesn't have to be that size
Okay,
of
I'm
triangle.
very shaky. This is gonna be.
I have the shakiest hands ever.
You have 15 cards.
Should we do it together? Or
Yeah,
like...
you need to sit together.
Okay.
Don't worry if it all goes well.
Okay. Okay, let's
There's a
try.
point behind this.
Are we starting this?
Okay,
Wait.
I'm gonna sit
Bella,
right
can you do it this way?
Come on over to
Spin.
the table.
Oh, okay. Sorry. This way.
No, no,
This way. Here,
on the
here.
other
Okay,
side.
okay.
Come out this way.
Oh god, I'm already like.
No
Okay,
pressure.
let us know.
Are you ready?
Oh, okay. Okay, let's do this. Yeah.
Alright, 1, 2, 3, go. You have 2 minutes.
Okay.
Should have had some halftime music.
I'll hold it.
Countdown.
Oh. Wait. There we go. First one. I don't do this very often.
No, I don't think anyone does really. You're doing better than I did, because I had a little bit
Okay,
of
you
this
do on
already.
that.
Okay, I'll
I'm
do
not
it.
really
Okay,
sure.
okay, let me try. I am shaking like a leaf,
That's
seriously.
all.
Oh no!
Okay, all over again.
Wait.
Wait, I can't even do that one now.
Okay, wait. I got this.
Cool, because
No, I ain't got
I know. I've got it either. Okay.
I chose something that was particularly hard because it just goes it's kind of a point of when you're given a task, you're not really sure why, but what's the motivation behind doing it. So hopefully,
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah.
Ooh.
once they get somewhere, we can see where they are.
Can you? Is that cheating?
No cheating.
Okay.
I've tried it before.
Lovely. You hold that.
Got
So.
2 layers.
Hmm?
It's so hard.
Oh, you okay? Oh my god, are you okay?
Yeah.
I go injuries, please.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go. Let's
So you
finish.
know you have 30 seconds left.
Ah, no pressure.
No, it's okay. We got this.
Yeah. 30 seconds is all we need. Okay, come on.
Stop laughing. Concentrate.
I was gonna do
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
That is hard.
Time is up. Cool. So thank you very much. Right.
Damn it.
So yeah, basically the point of this challenge and part of the book from the payoff is a lot of Dan Early's studies. He went over to sort of universities or companies, and he got them to do certain different tasks, and he rewarded them in different ways. And then obviously gave those people those rewards and said do it again. But based on the reward that he gave him, the level of motivation either went up or it went down depending on what they were given. So it was either something tangible or intangible in terms of what they were given. So, volunteer A, which was Bella Haribo.
Thank you, though.
And Alexis wins a high five.
Yeah. A real one.
So, basically, based on what you were given and what you did, if I asked you to do it again, what would motivate you the most to want to do that again, if I asked you to do that task?
A drink. Alcoholic
Include
beverage.
that So basically, a lot of the studies showed that although giving someone something like a prize or a bonus, some people may only work to a certain level to get that bonus or get that reward. And what some organisations find that they find it really hard to set bonuses or set payment schemes like that because it kind of doesn't feel like it's the right way to recognise people. So there's various different studies that people do on how do companies recognise people. And one thing to actually recognise people is people doing the recognition rather than something actually being given to someone. So although the Haribo is great and it will taste really good for about 10 minutes, or maybe less depending how quickly you eat them. But having that recognition, you know, if that's a weekly thing or a monthly thing that, you know, your manager or your colleagues is recognising you for, so we have the high fives, that's a really great way to recognise people. But it's something you remember, it's something you go home from work and say, oh, so-and-so, they gave me really good praise today, I'm really motivated about this. And you're most likely to talk to your partner, your friends, you know, your family and say, this is something I'm really excited about because I'm motivated. You know, if, for example, you got given a bonus which was a small amount, you might say, well, I worked really hard and I've been doing really late hours and I've been doing this. You're going to kind of go and foot in with a negative attitude towards actually being given something, even though the company or organisation might say, but we've given you something. But they're not understanding the point of recognition. So it is beyond, obviously, the bonus actually getting something from someone. And I suppose when you think about doing something for a friend or a family member, we often give things for people, but, you know, I can't remember how many presents I've given my mum and they're just in a cupboard somewhere and she's forgotten about them. Probably toiletries, because you know, buying those things. But it's more about the things that you actually do for those people, those memories that you create. And outside of work, we always love things to remember, great holidays, you know, great birthday party, things like that. It's about the people coming together. And I suppose creating that sense of community and recognition within work is really important as well as outside of work. So a couple of things, how can we motivate each other? So obviously think about the impacts of your actions. Can you do something in turn which helps others? So I think this is quite common sense, but I think sometimes we forget about this. Life gets busy, life gets in the way, so just remembering those sorts of things. Create time within your working week to focus on your own tasks, so quiet time. does help you focus and get ahead, and it makes you feel on top of things. And feeling on top of things, feeling connected, certainly something that I like to feel to stay motivated. Because if I feel swamped by things, my attitude goes down. I say, the words "I can't" come into my vocabulary, and that creates quite a negative attitude, and I'm not very motivated in that sense. Looking for solutions. So obviously my role as a business analyst is to look for solutions most of the time for users and for obviously the company. But I think in everyone's role, in anything that they do, looking for solutions is always the best foot forward. For example, if marketing realise actually there's a better solution for a campaign, but someone else doesn't agree, then it's okay, well, if that solution doesn't work, what else works? And I think that sort of mentality of, okay, it might not be the desired outcome, but what can we do instead to motivate everyone else to want to achieve the same end goal? And I guess that kind of rings true for the OKRs, because it's about us as a team. And I know we obviously have OKRs set individually, but what can we do as a team to achieve that? So if there are things that are going to be delayed and we can't do it, okay, well, what can we do instead? And it's just thinking about those things. Obviously recognition, I've gone through that, but it's something that is really important. Even if it's, someone took 15 minutes of their time to explain something to me. 15 minutes of time is quite a lot of time if you think about all the other things that we have to do in the day. And obviously we've had other talks around, the 80-20 rule in terms of time and making sure your management of things. So it is really important to make sure that you do recognise people for doing things out of their way. And shout about your success. So I never used to do this in my last job. I was probably down here in terms of the motivation scale, but it is quite important to just shout about some parts of success. So if you have completed a project on time, or if you've got an NPS score of 10 or something like that, shout about it, because it's often the case that some people in the business don't know that, okay, we have Slack, we have meetings and things like that, but sometimes departments, they don't shout about their successes as a department or as a team, or what one person as an individual has done. So I think it is really important to make sure that you do that, even if you think it's small or big, it's still really important. And I'm going to read from the quote. I couldn't remember this off the top of my head. But this is a quote which I find quite interesting by Sir Winston Churchill, written in 1941 to Harrow School. It's as relevant as it was then as it is today, so I'll try and read it best I can. So, success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. If you're going through hell, keep going. You have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something sometime in your life. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. To improve is to change, to be perfect is to change often. Never give in, never give in, never, never, never. Nothing great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honour and good sense. History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. So I thought that was quite relevant. Obviously I don't have the husky tones of Sir Winston Churchill, but yeah, just something that I thought was quite interesting as a quote. And lastly, what motivates me? I thought this would be quite interesting. So if you haven't heard, I recently went to Iceland. And one of the things that motivates me in my personal life is obviously first and foremost family and friends. But things that motivate me as well is experiences like this, things that I can go and do and take away and feel positive about. It's something that travel is a huge part of kind of who I am and what I want to do and where I want to be. But in terms of my work life, I suppose what motivates me first and foremost is feeling connected and feeling part of a team, which thankfully I really do feel part of a team working here. But also it is the small things, so recognition, it's helping others. I'm quite a selfless person, I think of others before myself. My mother says my biggest weakness and my biggest strength is that I'm too nice. So I'm working on it. But it's something that, you know, in terms of what motivates me, if I feel that I'm helping others, then I'm going to feel motivated at the end of the day, because I never put myself first, because I feel that being part of something bigger, whether it's part of a team, part of a company, is something that's always going to make me feel happier to work, and get up every morning, you know, get in early, all those sorts of things, without, you know, saying, but I've done this. It's not about a show, it's about, okay, well, what can I do as an individual to help the team, help the company? Any questions? Don't ask me anything. Hopefully, you know, some of that has interested you. I definitely recommend to read the Done Early Payoff book. Watch some of his TED Talks as well. So he doesn't only do motivation, he does things on kind of just in terms of organisations, in terms of growth and things like that. So he does a lot of studies. But yeah, I think the key thing is what can you do for others and what can you do for yourself? That's probably the big message to say.
Yeah, I have a question. You know, in that book, it's High, whatever, how did I pronounce it?
Okay.
The thing about lighting, what do they suggest is the best environment for lighting?
Candles everywhere.
Candles.
Yeah.
Like natural light, is that a big
Natural
thing?
light, yeah. Natural light is probably the best space for positive, sort of, not necessarily working space, but also just positive energy. The kind of sense of culture and attitude is to kind of not take too much time out, but to basically unwind. A lot of the Danish way of living is to essentially minimalise things as well. So I don't know about you, but in your own home you might have a clutter of things that just exist in your house. But in terms of the Hugo book, it's kind of Hugo, I don't know how I say it. It's kind of removing that and filtering through that, and actually checking in with like natural lighting, warm, cosy feelings. Obviously in the summer it's different, but for example in the summer it would be getting together with a group of friends, eating outside with the natural light, with the sunset and things like that. And I mean, it sounds picturesque in London, I don't know how achievable that is, but it is more just kind of a way of living which isn't so fast paced, doesn't feel like it's, you know, a rat race sort of thing, which I think some of the times, and I am a victim of this, is that I go kind of 50 miles per hour, and in terms of everything I do, I always get told to slow down by my husband. Take for example when we went on holiday, I'm so paranoid about missing a plane that I would just shoom, and I won't enjoy the moment of, you know, waltzing through duty free, which seems to be the general thing of anyone over 60 from the Midlands. But you know, it's yeah, I really enjoyed the book. It's one thing which actually really wants me to choose my next holiday destination, is to go to Copenhagen and actually, you know, feel part of that culture and environment.